Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make rollatini. It is a wonderful Italian dish, and I'm going to show you two ways of doing it. One with lasagna, which is traditional, and then a modified cuisine, which is going to be a carb-free one. Pronto? Allora andiamo a cucinare. Ciao, my name is Lucia, and thanks for tuning in to Green Olive Cooking, where you're only a few ingredients away from a great cuisine. And today's cuisine is lasagna rollatini. Few ingredients. To start with, we need to get some oil into a pan, saute pan, and we just want to add about 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I love these olive oil bottles with this gravity lid. It makes grabbing the bottle so much easy. And now we need to add our mushrooms. And just a quick tip on mushrooms is if you go shopping for mushrooms and you're not sure which one to choose, if you look at the mushrooms, one is closed, those are fresh mushrooms, and one starts to open. These are a little bit older. So if you can, pick the closed mushrooms because they are a more fresh mushroom. We just want to chop our mushrooms into small bites. We want to add a little bit of salt. We just want to saute our mushrooms until they're cooked. So now that our mushrooms are done, we are going to start putting our filling together. And so I have some ricotta, some chopped spinach. It's just frozen spinach. It's easier to do. If you want to use fresh spinach and chop it, that's fine. But you want to drain both of these to try to get as much liquid out as you can. We are then going to add our mushrooms. We're going to add 1 clove. We're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of mozzarella, and 1 egg, just to help bind everything. And we just want to mix everything up until it's all well incorporated. All right, now that that's done, we can set that aside and we can get our noodles ready. So what I've done for the lasagna version is I've cooked some lasagna noodles. I put them in hot boiling salted water for about 10-12 minutes. You don't want to cook them all the way through because they are going to continue cooking in the oven. But once they come to a boil, put the noodles in your salted water, turn their flame on low, and then put the lid on and time it for 12 minutes. You don't want it to boil because that boiling is actually going to break up your noodles, but if you put it on simmer, it'll be hot enough to cook it. So now that our noodles are cooked, we are going to fill them. We also want to get our pan ready where we're going to be placing our filled noodles. And so I have some tomato sauce. I always like to put a little bit of sauce on the bottom of the pan. And this is just a plain old passata tomato sauce. The other thing I like to do is add a little bit of salt to it, and I will also sprinkle a little bit of Italian herbs to it, just to give the sauce some flavor, because it's plain. All right, now I've got my noodles, and I have my filling. And so what I'll do is I'll take a spoonful of filling, and you can make it as full or not as full as you'd like. I'm gonna add about that much, and you just wanna start rolling, and then place into your pan. And you just want to continue doing this until all your filling is used up. Now, if you come across a broken noodle like this, no worries. What I like to do is I like to start on the end that is solid because that'll hold the filling in better. Roll it up, and then when you get to the broken part, you really can't notice that it's broken, but I'm going to actually turn it broken side down. Now that I have them all filled, I'm now just going to take a little bit more sauce and pour a little bit on the top of each one of these. And with the spoon, I'm just gonna kind of spread it out a little bit. And again, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and some Italian herbs just to give the sauce some flavor. Now, if you already had tomato sauce made up and flavored, you can by all means use that. And now this is gonna go into, I'm going to cover it with some foil. It's gonna go in 350-degree oven and cook for about 20 minutes. I'm going to remove the foil, put some mozzarella on top, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, and I'll give you an alternative carb-free version of this as well. So for the carb-free version, I actually like to use eggplant. So to start, and you want to find a long eggplant because we're going to slice them thin. So we'll just cut the top off, and I like to just kind of help my mandolin a little bit by slicing off a piece. Then using a mandolin, and be very careful with this, because it is sharp, you just want to slice to get a nice thin slice. And you might have to get a few until you actually get an even slice. So one thing we do have to do is we kind of have to pre-cook these a little bit, so I am going to put them in the oven. So I have a sheet pan, and I like to actually put some oil on the sheet pan. and just kind of rub the oil around because the eggplant, we need it to kind of cook a little bit. And so if we can put some oil on the eggplant, that would be great. So we'll start it with the bottom, and then I'm just gonna layer these on my sheet pan, and I will put them in the oven to cook. Again, I wanna put a little bit of olive oil on top, just kind of rub each of the eggplant. And I do wanna actually salt the eggplant just a little bit. All right, so these were now in the oven for probably about 6 minutes. They don't have to stay in very long, just long enough to make them pliable so that you can roll them. Now we will do as before. I want to start on the wider end here and roll them up and place them in our pan. Now, if you wanted to do a larger rollatini, you could actually take 2 eggplant together like such, add your filling, and then just roll them up together. So that's a way of getting more filling in one of them. If you happen to have one that is a half and half, all you have to do is just patch them up so they're somewhat even. Again, get the filling and roll them up and place them in your saucepan. And now I'll just go ahead and continue rolling my eggplant until my dish is full, and I'll put it in the oven just like I did with the lasagna. So we finished off our rollatini. We added some fresh mozzarella on top, and we can just tear up some fresh basil, and that'll give us a really nice fresh flavor to the dish. And I hope that you enjoy this recipe. If you want another quick and easy recipe, go ahead and click over here. But we have our traditional rollatini as well as our modified version. Love to hear what you have to say about it. Hope you try it. Until next time, ciao, ci vediamo dopo.